All right, I'm here with the UFC bantamweight contender Aljamain Sterling. Aljo, you defeated Pedro Munoz in your last fight, UFC 238. Were you happy with the win? I mean, it was a fun fight. You won all 3 rounds. Were you satisfied with it?
Yeah, 100%. I thought it was a great performance. I had a lot of fun going back and rewatching it, probably almost 20 times now at this point. But a couple of things I want to work on and tweak some stuff in my attack and just continue to keep progressing, keep getting better.
That felt like a different Aljamain Sterling in there. Did you feel different? Did you perform different than how you usually perform? Am I onto something or no?
I think when it comes to how I perform under the bright lights, 100%. But when it comes to what I do in the training room, I think it's just a little bit of more of a glimpse of what I can do in the training room. And it's just about getting more confident, more comfortable, and feeling like I'm still in my training environment, so I can go out there and do the same things that I do in the training room. And that's the main thing, just being more comfortable, going out there and just having fun and letting it all flow.
Jumping off that big win, Joseph Benavidez came out and tweeted out that you wouldn't be upset with him having the title shot and how this whole sort of double champ status is going to play out. How do you sort of see it playing out with Cejudo now being out injured?
I think if Cejudo comes back and he decides to go down to 25 first, Benavidez gets the first crack. Benavidez takes his belt, he comes back up to 35, then I come back and I take his belt.
If he does go down to 125?
My next fight, regardless, whoever it is, not necessarily waiting, but if it's an interim title fight, then as long as it's an interim title fight for a belt, that's the only thing. That's the only way I'm fighting next.
So you're only fighting next unless it's for a title.
Yeah, I think the UFC knows I'm the next guy. You know, at the end of the day, it's not my fault they decided to book another double champ opportunity, and here we are. We're now once again in this limbo, and I think I earned my shot. I think they understand that.
If they do an interim title fight, just because maybe Cejudo fights Benavidez, it's a big fight rematch, and he's out for a little while, is Piotr Yan the fight to make?
That's really up to the UFC. Whoever they decide to make, I don't call the shots. At the end of the day, I know who I want to fight, and that's the champ. So if they decide to put me against somebody else, and if it's Peter Yan facing me outside the opposite side of that octagon, then so be it. I believe I'm the best in the world, man, and that's at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter who I fight. It really doesn't matter.
Getting back to the Munoz fight for a second, you guys went back and forth before that fight. There was a bit of bad blood there. Do you think, was it just before the fight and you guys were cool after? Did it add to the victory to be able to shut him up a little bit?
Well, after both of our UFC debuts, which was on the same night, UFC 170, we were actually supposed to train with each other, and it never ended up happening. And I kind of felt we might end up crossing paths down in the future because I knew he was a tough guy, tough dude, going the distance with Rafael Sunsao in his UFC debut. Speaking on the feud, for me, it's more so building a fight and just having fun. I like to wager a little bit more than just signing a contract. You know, I like to have a little bit more of a back and forth so that you're either going to eat your words or I'm going to have to eat my words. So someone's got to. I think it just makes it a little bit bigger than just having a fight. You know, no one gives a shit about just guys just fighting. There has to be something that you're fighting for. And I think the build-up for that was really, really awesome. And we're cool, man. I have no animosity. At the end of the day, we're both fighting to do the same thing, realize the dream.
You're nominated for submission of the night tonight. Do you think you have enough of your submission was enough to get you the nod?
I don't know. I hope so, man. I did that against a guy who was ranked top 10 in the world. He was undefeated in the UFC at the time until he ran into me. I think it was a college All-American. It wasn't a short notice fight like Zabit's opponent was. And when you factor that in against the other nominees, they were great submissions. But in terms of opposition, I think I took out the tougher. I had the taller order to fulfill.